ladies and gentlemen, the Vice President RMAI and National Creative Director, Geometry Global, Mr. Rajkumar Jha is here with us. Please join your hands together as he will be now taking the stage and sharing his inputs on Bharat, the rural India. Welcome you, sir.
Been listening facts from rural India, Bharat, whatever you call it. It's a beautiful country. And I don't know how much do you people travel, or you get to travel. Or you will travel, then you will take your degrees and walk into the hardships of life. It's a wonderful experience, top to bottom, length, breadth, wherever you go. The kind of languages you talk about, the kind of food you eat, the kind of dresses you see, and you collect things. And once you start doing it, probably you'll start seeing how much of country we didn't know or we were not taught. I didn't go to any school or college or whatever. But when I started doing this work of talking to rural people, talking with rural guys since 1990, I realized that what they taught us, the kind of country they taught us, was not the country which we belong to. They gave us some maps, very different kind of maps. This is Bihar, this is UP. And they were political maps. They were not actually the maps of people. And we forgot the maps which we are supposed to be mapping actually. That you should be knowing. Like I come from a place called Madhubani, which is Mithilanchal. And if I have to drive from Delhi to Mithilanchal, then how will I go? So I will be kind of starting from Delhi, going into Haryana, one of the SCRs, then I will go to a little bit of Budelkhann, and then Budelkhann, and then Awadh, and then Bhojpur, and then into Mithila. So if you know that kind of tracks, if you can understand what Vidarbha means, what Telangana means, what these names are, why are they called those names, and a friend was presenting about something about rice herbicide. There were 1,000 questions coming into my mind because I am also a farmer. As a country, we are not people with preventive mind. Even if we have one day of fever, we will say let it go, it will subside. Unless it comes to that level that you need to take a medicine, then only you will take something popping or do some kada pada kind of a business. Unless it finally gets to a place when you have to go and see a doctor.
The panel discussion session lineup today is going to focus on preferred future and reality, and we have a very interesting mix of panelists, experienced and young, who will share with you the opportunities and challenges ahead as you move into the professional world. May I now invite on stage Dr. Anup Kalra, Director, Ayurved Limited, to join us and welcome our first panelist, Mr. S.N. Burman, Vice President, Maruti Suzuki. Please join your hands together and welcome the gentleman. Various leadership assignments in the organization. He was handpicked by the team and then managing of Kisan Seva Kendras, which have now become a major rural retail strength for Indian Oils. I would request our panelists to kindly take their seats on the dais. We have on stage Mr. S.N. Burman and Mr. Sunil Sharma, our esteemed panelists. I would request our panelists to kindly take their seats. Welcome Mr. Subhan Walia, General Manager of PepsiCo. Mr. Walia is sales and marketing professional with high creativity, excellent analytical capabilities, and strong interpersonal communication skills. It's a pleasure to have you on panel with us. May I now invite on the stage Mr. George Angelo, Secretary RMAI and Director Dabur India, such as Hindustan Unilever Limited, Asian Paints, Marco, Bharti Airtel, in some industries in his 12 years of corporate career. Currently he is on a break from his corporate hands together and Mr. Vidyarthi, in his 22 years of rich work experience, has worked with JCB India Limited, Honda Scale Cars India, Limited, Brian Norton, NC University, New Delhi. And now lastly, we would like to welcome our moderator for this session. So there we have our set of esteemed panelists and our moderator. Over to you, Karishma, to take over the session. Thank you.
Good afternoon, esteemed guests. Is the mic on?
Can you be in the center? I believe that would be a good idea. If you can be the center, that would be a good idea.
Okay. Their students and heritage, if I can call them, if anyone heard the designations and the corporations that were involved in just the MC's introduction, you know that the cumulative experience of our panel would surpass any career counselor. And I can guarantee you the job opportunities just amongst the people present here are immense. What we're here to do is to initiate a lot of student community that are our guests for this evening into what corporate realities or job opportunities, if I could put it more straightforwardly, holds for each one of you in various industries through various organizations in your future. We have some topics. Fortunately, our panel is extremely diverse. We have young, old, we have varied experienced panelists. We have panelists that have stuck by companies for fairly few years. But we'll start obviously by gaining from their experience. We'll start again from the basic question of where they made their decisions, from them, where the decisions came from, what their cues were, whether they regret any of those decisions and where it led them. I'll start from my right, if you don't mind, with
Thank you for inviting RMI. Thanks.
Sorry, Mr. Vidyarthi, I'm going to cut you here because I
The opportunity, I think, and wish you very all the best. Coming to the question straight away, I'm an engineer, so and every engineer has got it. Like all of you, I also had some preferences, and my first job, I must admit, I tried my best not to get that job. Okay, because the company which was coming next to Tata Motors, I was interested in that, but okay. So I had my interview at 1:30 in the night, and this company where I started my career, they were very smart people. They posted the final list at 6 a.m. in the morning, and we had a one-job policy. So, but anyways, that was on a lighter note. On a more serious note, my first job was with Indian Rayon, and it was I got a job as a 1 year as GET and final posting in Diesel Powerhouse. But I continued, coming to your point, I continued with my hobbies for quite some time after my job, first job also. But obviously, at some point of time, I don't get time to pursue that. That's the state of the fact.
Mr. Kashyap, we can go to you. Had varied experiences with companies, but also with brands that most of us relate to. Where with products that we all probably come in contact with, just to compare it for our audience here. Is it as exciting as you would assume it to be? And is that where you started your career? How did you go past?
Building on this point, if I turn the clock back 12 years, I think all of us would agree that sort of campus placements is a crazy time. All of us just want to get the first possible job, get it done with, open a bottle at night and just relax. I think if I look back 12 years, it was the first job I joined, which was Bharti Airtel, incidentally where I didn't even last 11 months. I think what sort of I would be wiser if I was to do it again is that I think at some level we need to give it some thought that what is our basic sort of aptitude and acumen and where do we really sort of fit in. So are you more of a sort of product person or a service person? Are you more of a salesperson or a marketing person? There are a lot of considerations that you should probably give a lot of thought to before you take that plunge, because while there is always that security need to get into the first thing that you just think, but I was also reading a statistic recently that not even sort of 50% of MBAs now last 1 year in their first organization. I think that's increasingly happening because the choices are made more on the need to get placed rather than the kind of organization you could spend the rest of your life in. So I think that's one key thing that I would sort of take out from when I look back 2002 or 2001, I think, when I got placed at Bharti Airtel.
Mr. Bharat, a little different opinion, or is it actually the same? How have you managed your tenure in marketing?
Okay. Before I get into the topic, which is, I guess, is an extremely exciting topic for this young friends who work here and possibly will pick up job or in the process of picking up job. I'm sure it is very, very appropriate. But I just wanted to, thank RMI for this wonderful, the most innovative award ceremony. And I must tell you, like I was listening to Mr. Jha about rural market, of course I'll talk about it a little later. Because, like I'm also associated in rural market for quite some time, and I never thought, like till Puneet told me, couple of months back that, there is one possibly happening here. So it is my compliments to the entire team, and I really hope and wish they take this, really, really forward. Okay, the question, let me tell you one thing, it has to be a little more interactive. The topic itself is, the preferred future versus your reality. That means you all wanted to understand the gap. But gap only can be understand, can only find a gap provided you are too sure that where you want to be after 15, 16 years or even 10 years. And most of you, I'll tell you, I also go to campuses a lot of time. Like, see, I was seeing the presentation here. A lot of people, I guess, if you keep your hand on your heart and try to answer this, you might get a different answer, isn't it? So it's a sort of, like, you need to be very clear yourself first that where I want to be. But then whether the option comes or not, there's a different case. I can share my experience, but I don't know how much my experience is going to be relevant. Because most of us get into this situation by default rather than by design. And let me honestly tell you. And all the people sitting out here, hindsight, whatever one can say, but if they really, try to look back, they will say, no, possibly this is not the job. This is not the job possibly I look for to get into. But Mr. Jha said, but for my job I would have been in Delhi. That's okay, that's his preferences suppose possibly heart lies in the villages or lies in the, like hinterlands. But he is here. Look at the gap. But to do a little justice, because we are all here, frankly, first job is extremely important. A lot of time I ask people, the time I go for an interview, I said, that, like you have done this project, where do you want to be in, say, 10 years later? Let me say, one common answer I get. They always look at horizontal growth. Why you want to lead a team? What team? Next question, no appropriate answer. Meaning we're all confused, right? Guys, be confused, no issue. But first job is very important. Why? I'll tell you, based on my experience. First job sets you or gives you some sort of an experience and gives you phenomenal opportunity to learn where you are absolutely free. You have less burden, you have less responsibilities in terms of, a lot of aspects. As you grow up in career, you have a lot more, possibly responsibilities. So first job gives you the horizon of thinking or horizon of, knowledge gaining, experience gaining. There where you can take a decision, first couple of years, whatever job you pick it up, there where you can, take a call to whether I should build my career on this or I should really move. Forget, now say, today we take people, or, based on my experience, the time possibly I joined, did I ever thought that I get into a, marketing and sales job being a hardcore engineer? Even in joining in engineering concern, possibly you are not too sure where you get posted. So first job is for your gaining knowledge. Because today's condition, even say suppose, Maruti comes and picks up, I'm just giving an example, Maruti, or for that matter anybody, every organization has a lot of verticals. You choose a job based on the company. Then you think of within the company, which vertical I would like to work. And which vertical you would like to work, sorry, I don't think you have an option as of yet. later on yes maybe. But at least select the right sector. Meaning if you want to work on a pharmaceutical, select a pharmaceutical. If you want to first moving consumer goods, please select that. You want to have, on an engineering firm, please. Or FMCGs, please. I think at least you can narrow down your, choices. And once you get into this, first 5 years, friends, based on my experience, you need to only look at how much I am learning, how much I am contributing for myself, even if it is not for the company. Company may not give you so much of work to do, but you must think how much I am contributing for myself. And that is going to be your strong foundation stone for your future. I hope that's the piece of advice I think I will give to my young friends. And most of us will get, like that subsequently you can get yourself blessed by design, not by default.
Thank you. Mr. Sharma, if you could elaborate firstly on whether you had so many aspects or choices in mind when you had your first job, if you knew the industry you wanted to enter.
Good afternoon, everyone. Before I start, let me thank RMAI for inviting me to this session, which I now realize is really an excellent one. It's a very good initiative taken. And I saw some wonderful presentations by students, done a lot of hard work and all that. Then I heard Mr. Jha, and those 10 minutes, they were very real actually. Because if you are talking of rural marketing, you must listen to people who actually have been to rural India. I somehow detest books which are written by people who have hardly gone to rural India, and they still write about it. In their spare time they travel abroad, and then they come back, pick up data from Google, and then they write about it. So that's not rural India. Thirdly, I'd like to thank that, as Mr. Burman was saying, this is absolute and excellent topic chosen, because for students, and I can see myself in you maybe years back, I think enough has been spoken about these words experienced, young, heavyweights. I'm definitely an heavyweight. I'm definitely experienced, and I have youth on my side. So it's a good mix. This is a very relevant topic actually. And why it is relevant is because often we make some errors in the initial part of our life, and then we keep on doing that and we don't realize where we end up. So it's very, very important for all of you students to be very clear as to what I want to be. When we often talk of strategy, there are books written. But to me, strategy in simple words is what I want to be or what I want to reach there, and how will I reach there. So first of all, it should be very clear to all of us to work in South India, and that was the best education I ever got, because you understand markets only when you live there. As a Delhi boy, for me, South India means Madrasi. That's all, nothing else. I have no idea absolutely. Somewhere in 7th class I had written Kerala ke log bade saral aur bahut achhe hote hain. I said, yeah, that is also education, but unless you try. I used to have about 12 field officers working with me, and one of them used to have excellent knowledge about cars, engines, everything. And since Mr. Burman works in Maruti, we used to have Maruti those days. I was one of those who had that model. But this guy used to have an old Fiat, a very depleted one, and his knowledge of car engines was perfect. So one day somebody said, why does he have such good knowledge about engines, everything? The other one said, because iski gaadi bilkul bekar hai. Ye sara din mechanic ke paas hi karta hai. So like that, meri gaadi bhi aisi hai. That's why I have more to share with you people than many of the people around here. In my life, I have made errors also, but I have no regrets. I have just floated. But coming back to why I chose this particular industry, frankly, first of all, I had no clue why I wanted to do an MBA. I basically was a person who was first interested in cricket. I was a state level cricketer also. And if IPL was there in those days, maybe my father would have allowed me to play cricket. But that was not a choice. Then I wanted to study physics. And yesterday when there's so much being talked about, this Mars mission, my heart swelled with pride that at least somewhere these science, pure science people are being recognized in this country. How it will last, I don't know. But when I was thinking about it, somebody said, no, don't do this, all this. Where will you get a job? So there is a new rush which is happening, and that is called MBA. You also join the rat race, do it, you'll get a good job. So frankly, I also did. I just changed course, I did it, and another thing which was told to me by a friend was that if you do an MBA, you'll get a good wife also, because it will improve your matrimonial chances. I don't know whether it is true or not, but yes, I have a good wife. I did it. Then after the B school, I didn't know what exactly I should do, because most people, the dynamic one, and the macho thing is that you should be in marketing. You're a boy, so you should be in marketing. How can you do HR? HR is for girls. Boys do marketing, rough it up. Okay, let me do marketing. I looked around for jobs, Onida, all kind of things. My uncle used to work for Shell and used to share a lot of stories about those English petroleum companies, like Shell days and all that. Nothing was, fascinating me except the fact they said if you join this company, it's a British company with a good British legacy, you'll get a car after a probation of 6 to 8 months. So a boy who was just 22 in MBA, car was the only thing. So like other people, I don't know, I had no idea. I thought, okay, let's go for the car. Rest we will see. So I joined this company and I got my brand new Maruti, which was the latest model those days. And I would flaunt around it, with all my batchmates that I got a new car. But soon, somewhere, good sense prevailed that where am I heading to? I think I should take things a little seriously. And there was one boss who changed my course. They said, look, you are more stressed when you are confused. So the confusion was that what should I continue? So I was put in an area called, Lucknow. And my first interaction was with Mr. Raghunandan Prasad, who was a dealer in Barabanki. Now, why I'm saying all this is that when you go out for your B schools, you will have to meet many such Raghunandan. He's a dealer, he was a tractor dealer also. He did not understand what your MBA and SWOT analysis and Kotler is. That's a mismatch. So first thing is, when you go out of your B school is, talk among yourself, but please, first of all, list out what are your core strengths, what you want to be. Have a juice of the entire 2 years that you have studied, what exactly have you learned which you can relate to the markets to Raghunandan actually simply. As Mr. Jha was saying that if you talk of Android and all, he will not understand. But if we talk simply, he'll understand. And that's how I got into these markets. And then suddenly I started enjoying this interaction with customers, dealers, how to grow the business. And most important is, once you start enjoying this process of transaction with your customers as to what you want to be, you continue. I continued with this organization. They moved me to South, which was for us the best education. Got into it, continued, never felt the need to move out. Because the organization had a good mix of very intelligent people. In fact, as Mr. Barman was saying, in our industry, there are many young IIT graduates and engineers. In fact, it's a little high-tech organization, so you got to have a technical background also. But you enjoy. I'll come back to it after Subhan has spoken as to what else you need to look at when you go about your career. But please decide for yourself what my core strength is, what my skills are, can I match it with the job that I'm going to be. Don't worry about the title, don't worry about the company. And as he rightly said, the first 5 years, don't look at your salary. Please look at the experience that you're going to be in. This experience will actually take you forward. So with those words, I think Karishma has taken a little more time, but I thought let me
I'll go over to Mr. Walia. If you can let us know, I'm taking from Mr. Sharma's words where where we don't really have any prescribed notions like Mr. Sharma's friend did. So in your case, what were the decisions in the first job?
Firstly, a very good evening to everyone. We would like to thank Mr. Sanjay Kaul and RMI for extending a very warm welcome to me to join this panel today. For me personally, every time that I have evaluated a brief background, I have roughly 7 years of work experience and across 2 sectors, which is technology for 3 years and FMCG for the past 4 years. And I think of my career and 3 decades that I think that I'm going to work ahead as a sum total of projects and relationships. And you can break a big career down to just these 2. A lot of projects that you do and a lot of relationships that you build along the way. The people that you have interacted with, be it your distributors, be it your internal stakeholders, be it the consumers that you interact with, these are all relationships that you carry forward. It will be the small projects that you keep doing. Some projects will be interesting, some might not be. I personally have done multiple roles across both my companies. And every time that I have used, and there's a lens that I use, I call it the 5L lens, and for me it's always worked. And I'm just sharing how I evaluate a career opportunity. All organizations today talk about growth. Growth is the mantra on which almost all organizations base whatever communication they do with investors, with all the external community. If you're not growing, the organizations feel that they are going to stagnate. Similarly, in your personal career and in this journey that you're in, you must always grow. And that is why my first lens is always learning. If in a project or in a role that I am in, if I'm not learning, that's the first lens that I use, whether my career is giving me the opportunity to learn. There are 2 other lenses that might not apply to a young B-school graduating, but level and location, which should come in maybe 5 or 10 years down the lane, are 2 other lenses that I have used. Whether I'm in an area where I feel comfortable and whether I'm at the right level. The most important other 2 lenses for me have been, one is the power for leverage. Are you in a role that has a chance to impact the world around you? Are you in a role that gives you the ability to really impact your team, your stakeholders? Does it have the capability, give you the capability to really make meaningful change, either for the organization or for a higher order goal? That leverage key will give you the highest amount of satisfaction, because that is going to give you a feeling of success when you are able to create that leverage. And the most important lens that I have always used is, are you loving what you're doing? Are you loving coming to work every day and seeing the people around you? If you don't love your team members, or if you don't love the people that you're interacting with on a day-to-day basis, that is the biggest lens that tells you whether you're in your right career or wrong career. You can shift across industries, across careers, different jobs. You can never say this is the right career for me or this is the wrong career for me. It's a set of projects. Some projects will be used in some other places. I personally have been an embedded systems programmer for 3 years of my life. And now I'm a sales and marketing professional. I've done hardcore sales, I've done consumer marketing, and I'm currently doing a customer marketing role. At each of my roles, I have used learnings from my past roles or my past projects. And they all wrap in. I have experience with consumer marketing and making ads, but at the same time, when I go into rural India and I'm making customer plans and trade plans, I always wear the lens of what will work and what won't work. So for me, these have been the lenses by which I have evaluated a career. And it might be an interesting way for you to evaluate your job opportunities.
Excellent, thank you. I guess from great learning from each one of our panelists' actual experience, I just want to move it into actual realities. There are certain expectations that we have as students, especially from a B school. We also carry the weightage of an education that we've gone through with some
Topic which has got a bridge to this particular question. See, I'm working in a British company, and I work for an American company also, and I work for Indian company also. All multinational blue chip companies. Now, the basic difference which I see while interviewing people for these companies or while appraising the current staff, on a performance potential 9-box matrix, you guys are management students, you must have read it. Indians generally appraise themselves on the highest walks of both potential and parameter. If you study the European trend, they rate themselves at low on performance and high on potential. Now it has got a bearing on the way we are brought up, the society we live in. As a child, we all know that we face expectations from parents and from the people around us. That puts a lot of pressure unconsciously on us to be at the top. The difference between us, our society and European people is that they prefer to become a subject matter specialists, experts, subject matter experts. Wherein we all aspire to become a managing director, as you said from the day one. I can draw a parallel, for example, a wine taster, or the guy in Ferrari who actually listens to the sound of the car and tells whether the car is being built properly or not. So those kind of people have got a better chance and they get better money in their respective fields. So that brings to that brings us to the fact that while we have
The answer in two parts. One is what is the sense of entitlement an MBA gives you, and the second is sort of what is the reality that you actually face once you enter the gates of a company that you sort of work for the first time. So I think I personally always believe that the MBA degree is like a sort of visa on your passport. It is supposedly supposed to get you into a country, but letting you in or entitling you to stay is really the discretion of the customs official. And I would say it's a very similar case with an MBA degree. I think it definitely sort of brings the best people to the fore. It enables you to be prepared for a lot of stuff ahead. It sort of separates the wheat from the chaff or the men from the boys, so to speak. But once you enter the first job, reality hits you that it's very different from what you expected it to be. I mean, I remember 12 years ago, I was working with Airtel in Chennai, and my boss, the first day I joined, took me outside and showed me two trees. One was here and the other was 200 meters away. He said, "That's your sales area, go and start selling." Now, nothing that I did in my MBA would have prepared me for that. I would have, my first question was, I don't speak or understand Tamil, how will I go and sell? My second question was, I don't even know how to do sales. I mean, let me refer to some textbook, etc. What you will find when you enter a job is very, very different from what you were rigorously preparing for in terms of your academic curriculum. And I think what advice I always give to people who are starting out now is that try and spend a lot of time interacting with the industry. Whether it is doing cheap and cheerful projects for them, whether it's internships, whether it's going and listening to people, whether it's, whatever friends, family, relatives you have in the corporate field, talking to them and understanding what it entails. Because, I mean, the example I always give is that I have been involved in a lot of competitive battles, one-on-one, HUL, PNG, etc. But I think what you will end up doing is so very different from what you've sort of spent all your years preparing for, that you have to very quickly unlearn and relearn. And you have to have the ability to really sort of dynamically adapt to the situation. And nothing is really below or above you. Because as you go up, you realize, and I look back to some of the instances 12 years ago, they have played a big part in me having the ability to take certain decisions now. So just go through it like all the other panelists mentioned, like a sponge, keep on absorbing it. And nothing is above, nothing is below, as I said. But nothing will be theoretically resolved. Everything is done on the ground, eyes and feet on the ground, and you have to really, really adapt to the practical situation, which is going to be very, very different. And as I said, it could be for some I always thought of myself as a very blue chip marketing person, suddenly on day one being told to go and sell STD, PC or telephone lines in a Tamil speaking line. I didn't think my MBA really, confidence to become a good sales guy. So everything and anything that you'll encounter would be positive, even if at that time it might be painful, but in hindsight it's positive. And B, it's pragmatism that's going to take you forward, not your grade point average. I mean, I think I was bottom 3 in my batch, but I haven't done too badly after that. So I think academics plays a role up to an extent, but I think you have to be wise and street smart to be able to adapt.
Roadmap for the same project. You definitely find
mostly, the people sitting out here, possibly they'll be more logical in terms of their planning part of it. Others may not be as logical as they are. But at the same time, there are maybe some people, without doing any MBA, they could be as logical as these MBAs are. Please understand, that's my experience, I'm telling you, nothing substitute personal experience, practical experience. And practical experience, you can use it better with your education. That's it. So this education gives you some thought of, thought process, like, okay, he's talking about thought. It's okay, if everyone, in nation, I don't think we apply it that way. If what finance tells you, you do that. So please, friends, I think whatever you're doing an excellent job, but try to be practical. When you really apply your learnings, like you will try to predict. I was looking at the presentation, believe me, and I was listening to Mr. Jha, because I also traveled from, like maybe Manipur to Kanyakumari, and so that's my role. Because of my role, I was all over. And every state, or within the state, every district is different. Everything is different. No bookish knowledge can get you or make them to think the way you possibly learn. It is the only thing that will give you a broader horizon to think. So my suggestion to all these young people sitting here, learning is good, but you need to apply, based on the actual situations. Like the time we did a rural market long time back. What did Mr. Puneet Chandra do? And there's another guy called Ajay. I only told them, please go and meet hundreds of panchayat members or these, that, and try to understand what do they need, what possibly the base for our strategy for future. And let me also tell you, it varies from state to state. So please, I think, don't get disheartened. MBS is a very good, you should, there's great job, but apply it appropriately.
Not a bad job.
Continuing from where I left, I'll be a little more specific this time. One is the education itself is indeed very important and very useful. So let us not have any doubts about it that the business school education is the best. It's very useful. As Mr. Burman said, it gives you a very logical mind to analyze problems, go about it, and that's something which differentiates you from the rest. And just to share my own example, if you want to remain engaged with the business management education, don't stop at your business school education. Often what happens is, when you acquire a degree, you stop learning after that. What I mean to say is that you learn from the markets, but continue with the habit of reading management books. Because what you read today, you will be outdated after 10 years. There is a real life incident when Mr. Kotler, Professor Kotler, somebody approached him with the old book. He refused to autograph it. He says, what I wrote 25 years back is outdated. And just the education, the concepts are changing. So as far as the theoretical part is concerned, it is important. All I would say is that whatever you people are studying, make a gist of it, take the juice out of it, and then retain it, and then apply it. That's the theoretical part of it. Coming to the practical part of the corporate, when you move out, you will decide an organization partly of your choice, as certain criteria that you have, or partly because you may not get a job initially, so you may land up with something which you want to park initially for 1 year, 2 years. What you must find over there is, and the traits which you should have, what they don't teach you at business school is how to build up an attitude. Often, as we said about being young, young means what? It's basically an attitude. If you are passionate about your job, if you are energetic, so look for an organization which gives you the kind of passion you are looking for. So often, why I'm saying the salaries are important. It's a reality of life. It's a world where we are living with fancy cars, smartphones, houses and all, so it is important. But in your initial days for 7-8 years, build on your core competencies. And look for if he's defining what he wants to do. I can tell you there are very senior people in the organizations who come up the ladder some way or the other, but they still don't stand out as leaders. Maybe they don't have the skills. So don't aspire to be the business head of as early as possible. I will share one story about a company, multinational, where there was a very dynamic field officer doing very well, achieving his targets, doing whatever was assigned to him. But he wanted to become the regional manager very fast. The leadership and HR people explained to him that you don't have the traits to lead a team. You are a very good person here as an officer. But somehow he was restless. He felt that he was not being given his due. He was made the regional manager, and then after 8 months he was sacked because he could not control the team. We have in Indian Oil, in fact, a lot of these young cricketers who are our employees also. Not that they come to office, but we get an opportunity like Rohit Sharma, Cheteshwar Pujara, Ajinkya Rahane and all that. And they tell you inside stories about what happens in the dressing room. And there was one saying that Sachin Tendulkar, he is a legend. He was very clear after some time that he doesn't require the leadership for it. So sometimes what happens is in your career, don't be impatient about heading a particular team. Is have a good command on written communication. Often the organization, you have to basically depend on communication. So that is something which you build up over a period of time, something which they may not teach you in the school. Have the ability to make good presentation. All of you are good at, I think the young generation is very good, but try to improve it because that's something which you will be required to do as you go along. The third is your ability to do qualitative analysis. Fourth is your ability to negotiate. Fifth is your ability to confront with all kind of people in the organization. When you move in
those machines. And interestingly, the airport had just been opened and we completely tied up the entire airport. And everywhere you would go, you would only find Pepsi. And what we were noticing was that in spite of me running a 24/7 operation with almost 200 people, one line or one SKU line of the automatic vending machine would keep getting stocked again and again and again. With senior management would keep traveling out of Delhi, click a picture and say, email it to me at odd times in the night and say, if there were 100 bottles, 5 bottles would go out and a SKU line would go out. Now, this is not taught in B school, you don't know what to do. But when you're in your first job, you just sit there. I sat at the airport all night long and I just watched people play with the machine. And the realization was that we as Indians read from left to right. And even that entire vending machine, from 201 to 210, everyone presses 201 when they want water. Although it's all 201 to 210. And that was that wow moment for me. I immediately got the entire machine reprogrammed. So that when you press 201, it will first give you a bottle from 201, then from 202 and 203. We never had stockouts after that. This is something that I didn't learn in B school. But what I learned in B school were very simple frameworks. It was like letters. And it was basic concepts of thinking right, common sense. And this is what I could apply in Bench territory for us. All past ASMs in that territory had struggled to get the share up, and we were continuously losing share hand over fist. Everyone was trying their best luck at playing with the wholesale, playing with multiple packs. There was one simple thing that I as a B schooler brought to the table. I simply opened a Google Maps, printed a big size map and put it up on the wall, and I plotted my distributors with simple thumb pins. And I said, if this is where my distributors are, and I still remember that Faridabad is like a big board. It's like a big vertical symbol line of a town. And I realized that both my distributors were in a point that was completely off, and logically, it just didn't make sense for it to service. And that's why we were losing share. These are two very simple examples that I'm sharing, which will contrast what you learn in B school with how you will perform at work. All you need to do is continuously, passionately work hard and have a willingness to learn. The solutions will follow. Just like sir said, be sincere, keep thinking right, and the right solutions will follow. This is the biggest change that you will see from B school, where you will attempt a problem and you'll try to write an answer, whereas in real life and corporate life, you'll try to solve and create results. And that's what I'm going to share with you.
I did have one question about opportunity on that one, but just to round up, I think cumulative knowledge from the session, work as hard as you can in the most sincere manner, gain as much experience as you